I've spent over 40 hours in Starsand Island and I still keep discovering features I completely missed. Some of these are small quality of life improvements, others can help you progress faster, and some are just fun features that add charm to the overall game experience. In this video, I'm sharing features you might have overlooked so you can take full advantage of what the game has to offer. Let's start with clothing. If you're wondering why some of the outfits you've unlocked aren't appearing in your inventory or in the shops, it's because there's another way to obtain clothes in the game, and that's through the use of a sewing table. You can buy the blueprint for this from the general shop and craft it yourself. You can then use this table to make your own clothes from the clothing patterns you've already unlocked, and they even categorize which outfits you've already crafted versus those you haven't yet. Next, there are a lot of food buffs you can take advantage of in this game. To give a few examples, mushroom soup has a buff that increases your chances of getting rare or immortal seeds when harvesting crops, and this bonus can stack up to 5 times. This means the more you eat, the higher the chance to get the seeds. This is a really good buff to make money, and mushrooms are abundant in Moonlit forest, so you can easily cook one. Another one of my favorites is green grape juice. For this one, you just need to process green grapes in the juicer to get green grape juice. The buff for this is very helpful since it provides a guaranteed extra amount of ore when mining, and this effect can also stack up to 5 times. If you want to automate your activities, you will eventually need a lot of ores for crafting machinery, so I always take advantage of this buff. Then we also have the red grape juice. You won't be able to plant red grapes until autumn, but it has an effect called the bonus timber, where you are also guaranteed to get a small amount of extra wood when you chop down trees. Again, this effect can increase the bonus amount up to 5 times. There are a lot of other buffs available in the game, and I highly suggest you don't skip out on those. Make sure you are checking the processing machines and your campfires to see which food might suit your activity for the day. You should also keep an eye on Aureli's kitchen because there's some food here you can buy directly from him that has good buffs. The next buffs we are going to talk about coincides with the other features you might have missed in the game, so let's talk about them one by one. If you don't know yet, you can actually play on the arcade machines on Chrono Arcade, which I think is a very fun addition. One of the games is similar to Tetris and the other one is similar to Snake. Increasing your scores in these games will reward you with star notes, some blueprints, and items like clothing. To play those machines, you need to buy tokens from Lauren. But another thing you can use these tokens on is the gacha machines located besides the cash register. These contain rewards such as gold, resources, blueprints, or furniture. To increase your chances of pulling a premium furniture, you can eat Wishful Heart cookies, which you can buy from Aureli's kitchen. It has a buff called Lucky Spin, which slightly increases the odds of pulling premium furniture from the gacha. You can also use your arcade tokens on the lottery machines positioned outside the arcade. There are different scratch cards there that rewards you with more tokens if you win. To increase your chances of winning, you can drink Star Cane Light, which you can buy from Aureli's kitchen as well. Its buff also gives you a chance for a full token refund on payout. You may or may not have noticed that there are a couple of trash bins scattered all around the island. You can actually rummage through this, and there's a chance that you will get helpful materials. But if you're going to be doing this anyway, it's best if you eat seaweed egg soup for a guaranteed chance to get something. Again, you can also buy this from Aureli's kitchen. Next, if you see spots like this on the beach, it means you can dig on that spot to get some items. Sometimes you'll even get a beach treasure map, which leads to a treasure chest that gives you some rewards including gold. While we are here at the beach, another thing you should keep an eye out on are glowing shells, which you can pick up from the sand. If you see one, you should not sell it. Instead, keep it because in Lex Woodwork Shop, there is a tab called Glowing Shell Exchange. The only way to buy these special, luxurious, or minimalist blueprints is by using the glowing shells as your currency. Now let's talk about some things that can make your life a little bit easier. Normally, we harvest crops by pressing F. This does not consume any stamina, but the process is quite slow. However, you can actually use your machete or your axe to harvest crops. As you upgrade your axe, you'll be able to harvest multiple tiles at once. This consumes stamina, but I often use my machete instead of my hands to harvest my crops for the convenience. Next, there's an animal you can rent here from Pastel's Ranch called the Pyrox. It looks really cool and has this special effect trailing behind it. When you jump, you'll also see this mark on the ground. Aside from this mount being very cool, there's another use for it. If you jump on bushes, you can actually harvest fiber. I really appreciate this because in this game, you'll eventually need a lot of fiber for crafting recipes, especially if you're going to make charcoals. It's really convenient to gather fiber by just riding your pyrox around the forest and areas with a lot of shrubs like this. I haven't found any other mount that has a special effect aside from the pyrox, so if you've noticed any other ride that has a special use, do let me know. When you are fishing, the number of fish that will spawn in a certain area is limited, so it's highly recommended that you use bait. One thing I didn't notice earlier is that instead of using your bait and then fishing and then using your bait again, you can just simply use your bait all at once, and then all the fish will gather in that area, and you can fish all of them at once. I just found this a bit more convenient. While going around the island, you might notice a lot of bugs flying around like this one over here, and I used to just ignore them. But whenever you see one, it's a good idea to capture them with your bug net. I didn't even craft my first bug net until maybe my second week in the game, but to craft fertilizers, you will need an item called protein powder. Protein powder can be obtained by using insects in a separator, so it's a good idea to craft a bug net and start catching bugs. This will also help you complete your Islandpedia because to complete it, you also need to catch all the insects available in the game. Speaking of your Islandpedia, one thing that people can easily miss is the stamp collection. As you discover more items from certain categories, you'll be able to unlock special rewards. It can be money, new blueprints or recipes, rare animals, and some immortal seeds. The rewards are very helpful, so I highly recommend that you check your Islandpedia from time to time and see if you've unlocked a new stamp already. For the next part, let's go to the Moonlit Forest. Once you have defeated a certain enemy once, you can actually start ignoring them the next time you're in their zone if you're not a big fan of combat. Their attacks are quite slow, so you can just dodge around while gathering materials. Since some materials can only be found in boss areas, like the salt bricks that you can only find here at Crystallith, you can gather what you need and just leave the monster alone. While you are in the Moonlit Forest, pay attention to some hidden spots as well because there might be treasure chests. For example, behind certain waterfalls or hidden in thick bushes. Also, look out for certain items that are arranged in conspicuous patterns. If you gather those materials, a treasure chest might also appear. If you are here to gather coal, my favorite area to gather coal is in this sunken area around here in Azure Bay. There are a lot of coal mines here as well as sleeping lilies, but the elevator going up and down here is actually quite slow. So after I'm done gathering everything I need from this area, I just press escape and then there's an option to click unstuck. When you click that, it will teleport you to the nearest tent. You're now able to use the fast travel or the portal there to get to your next gathering location. Another feature you might have missed is this option to roll back to previous save. You can select a backup date to load and revert your save file up to 7 days. This is helpful if you've done something you want to redo. You can also roll back to the start of your current day. And this feature is really helpful, especially for an early access game where bugs can still happen. The next feature you might have missed is this one from the bulletin board. This can be easily overlooked, but from your bulletin board, look at the lower left portion and there are actually gifts you can claim once you have done a certain number of requests. As you can see, I didn't do this for a long time. Another thing is from your camera. If you press G, you'll be able to see all the photos you've taken in the game. But if you click on the other tab over here, there are actually some photo challenges you can do by taking photos of certain locations indicated here. For example, I just took a picture of the community center and I've been rewarded with star notes. After you have completed a certain amount of photo challenges, you'll be able to unlock new emotes in the game. Speaking of emotes, you can click E to open your emote wheel. There are different kinds of emotes available right from the start, but there are also some you can get from advancing in the game. For example, I bought this dance emote from Lunel's clothing store, and just look at how adorable this one is. Another feature you might have missed is that if you see a couple of NPCs near each other, Pay attention to the options for interactions. There might be a listen option. Listening in on the NPC's interactions can give you a little bit more background story about who they are and their relationships with each other so you can appreciate them more. Another feature I'm really happy to have discovered is this vendor called the Tanghua Master. For 100 gold, you can actually ask them to customize portraits. You can give them someone's photo you've taken with your camera, and they will customize a sugar painting for that NPC. I tried giving this Solara sugar painting to Solara, and she seemed very happy about the gift. However, I didn't see any notification that my relationship with Solara increased, so I don't know if giving it to her actually helps with relationship building. But I think it's a really fun feature you can try with different NPCs in the game just to see their reactions. Another shop you may want to check out is the newsstand. They sell books that you can actually read from your inventory. It doesn't really give you anything else for game progression, but I think it's just a nice small detail. You can also buy a hot spring ticket over here. Now, if you look at the map, you won't see any marks for a hot spring. For a long time, I thought that the hot spring would be in another area of the map or maybe not yet implemented in this version of the game, but it is actually located behind Solara's house. You can take a dip here to recover your stamina, and I know that there are a lot of easier and more efficient ways to recover stamina, but having a place like this to just relax is a good touch. After all, the developers made this game to give players a place to slow down and appreciate these tiny details. For my last tip, you might already know that you can get some items from the yellow charity boxes scattered around town. But did you know that you can also steal some items? Particularly from the ranch. If you see glowing things in the hutches or the coops, you can go ahead and steal it as long as no one is looking. I did try this when Pastel was around, and the game didn't let me take the item because it said that someone was watching me. So, which feature surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments if you found other things I might have missed. As always, keep in mind this is an early access game, so features can change at any time. Check out this next video for more Starsand Island tips.